first versus second on the Hungry Jacks NBL ladder.
Ready. Here we go, guys.
And we're about to get it on. Majuk, and Andrew Bogut to tip it off. And here is Newley, the 200-game star, with first use of it. To Cooks, gets a chance to start.
Watch that screen, Casper.
As Peter Hurley told you, no, Didi Lazada, Casper Ware. It's hard to know what you've got to get from Casper. He's been cold from outside the three-point arc, but here he goes for one early. Just to get himself a sider, he gets fouled on the three-point shot by Bryce Cotton. Not a bad idea to go for one early. He's made just one of his last 13 threes.
That's right. In the last two games, they've come about only the 1 of 13, and just goes to show the confidence that he has. He's not going to work his way into the game and just find a nice, easy, open one. Comes out a contested three to get it going, and despite his shooting woes from the three-point line, where he's 28% on the season, you can see how much respect the defense still has for him. They're not going underneath screens. They're going to close out hard and make sure they contest, because he can explode on any given circumstance.
Thank you.
Bryce Cotton's the one. This matchup brings out the best in both these two. Bryce Cotton averaging those 31 points per game in those two games that they've had this season, and he's really dominated for the Perth Wildcats.
Will Weaver, been a dream start his coaching career at the Sydney Kings. They're top of the pops right now. For him, little push again. It's Casper Ware and Bryce Cotton who get tangled. So it's one foul apiece.
And this matchup is why it's so enticing, because as much as Casper Ware is going to try get him up, really have a good game offensively, he's going to take it upon himself to go down and try and shut down Bryce Cotton as well.
Damien Martin, who's also been a little cold at times from outside the arc, gives it up to Tariko White. He's been cold on this floor. Last game in Sydney, his worst. Only 2 points for Tariko. Casper, look out. He's got his eye in early.
He's got 6 already, and both of them 2 3-point field goal attempts. You're right, with Tariko White, it was 1 of 9 the last time they were here, and he's a very important part of what they do. And if he doesn't get his 16 to 20, it's hard to see them scoring enough to get the win against this powerful offense which the Sydney Kings have.
Purple, 10.
Nick Kay is having a ripper year. Been dominant in games against the Kings this season. Nick Kay, 18 points and 19 points in the 2 games, and last game against Sydney, 13 rebounds to go with it. Here is the line where he's 84%.
And Xavier Cooks gets a good crack at it too. Coming in late, coming off a knee injury, spending some time on the sidelines, but now gets a starter role with the unfortunate injury to Didi Lazada. For him personally, this should give him a good chance to really get a feel for the game and play some significant minutes.
It will, and last week he had a really good game, close to a double-double in limited minutes off the bench, so I'm expecting him to have a really good game tonight. Great
to have Andrew Gaze, Peter Hurley and Louise Ransom with us for the coverage. Great to have you with us as well, wherever you might be watching. Casper Ware takes it alone, gives it up, little spin move by Tate. He tried to get out of it by passing it to Cooks, but he wasn't in row 3.
And Wolves, the first 2 out of the first 4 possessions we've seen, they've run this little cross screen for Bogues and then the down screen. Now, I know each team looks at each other, but that looks very familiar to a Melbourne United set that they go to Sean Long with a lot as well.
You're right, it does, and it gives the option if you don't want to throw it into the big fellas. You're right, Casper coming up, and he can work off that, and when he's already rolling like this, it's a good play.
Nick Kay got rid of Andrew Bogut, but he couldn't get the bucket. Bryce Cotton, floater on the run, delightful.
And that's what he did when they played in Perth. Had a lot of success in that first half. Turn the corner. You know how Bogut plays those ball screens really sagging off. And that floater is money from Bryce Cotton.
Here is Andrew Bogut to set it up. Didn't like what he had on offer initially. Brad Newley. And travel. Brad Newley.
Yeah, really, one of the ones that's been the most fashionable call this season. A little shuffling of the feet, as we see. Just the slightest shuffle of the pivot foot. Jeez. Absolutely, technically
200th NBL game. You get a little bit of leeway, do you, in your milestone game?
But that's been the call of the season so far. They are red hot on any of those little shuffles before you put the ball on the floor.
Bryce Cotton, the catch and shoot. Be interesting to see what kind of afternoon Bryce Cotton has. As the boys said, averaging, well, Andrew Gay's rounded him down to 31 points a game. I'll round him up to 32 if you like.
Right.
31.5. Bogut, he tried to go alone, ran into some trouble. Either way you look at it, he's putting together some pretty good numbers, Bryce Cotton. Let's have a look at the keys to the game.
As we have a look at this replay from Bogut. Smart take, you know, when Casper running underneath, he's probably going to draw a little bit of attention from the big fella going hard there to the rim. But keys to the game, you've got to keep Perth off the offensive boards. They're second in the league for offensive rebounds, whereas Sydney are currently last, only averaging 8 offensive rebounds a game. And then you've got to shut down Cotton. There's no Clint Steindl. He's not playing either, another guy who can get hot from beyond the arc. So put that attention on Bryce Cotton, make someone else have to play. And on the other side, Perth, the most well-executed team in the league, control the tempo. Sydney are going to want to get up and down. And on the other end, don't foul. They love to get to the free throw line, especially at Kudos Bank Arena. So play good, hard-nosed defense without fouling.
Tarika White, see if he can get his eye in. Long two, all net. That'll look good.
Yeah, I reckon you're spot on, and probably the most significant one for the Perth Wildcats is that last one, is keeping the Sydney Kings out of the paint. We saw them do a number on the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix a few days ago, and when they can get so deep, they're getting high percentage shots around the rim or working their way to the free throw line, where they're currently second in free throw field goal attempts per game. There's a little unfortunate swing of the arm by arguably the greatest defender this league's ever seen.
Andrew Bogut pulls one from his bag of tricks.
When we're talking about keeping him out of the paint, it's not just the guards. Bogut, when he catches that elbow and can get that deep and around the basket, it's really tough to stop. And Shook's got to do a better job keeping him out of there.
Tariko just got a long two from there, so that's 2 in a row for Tariko. He's starting to get his eye in nicely.
And watching that defensive play from the Kings, with Didi Lozada out putting Xavier Cooks in, they can switch 1 through 4. Casper Ware might be small, but he's a great post defender. Jay Sean Tate's agile as well. So watch for them to be switching 1 through 4, trying to blow up stuff, not let Tariko and Bryce get easy catches.
It's amazing that little sin, the heel on the line before you take off. How often it happens. The refs are ready for it.
Tate getting an early rest as well, and Taylor coming in. He was 5 of 6 from the three-point line against the Phoenix.
Bryce Cotton. He gets himself a nice sider. That's a little sign of things to come if the game gets close late. Bogut steps in, steps out. Cooks. Gave it away. A little behind the back move, but he was ready for it. There's Sean Taylor.
Sorry, but that was just outstanding D by Nick Kay. He picked it, and when you talk about keeping someone out of the paint, that's exactly what he did as he was guarding Cooks. Slid his feet, pulled him up just outside the keyway and forced that turnover.
Some early minutes for Lucas Walker. No Didi Lozada, no Kevin Lish for the Sydney Kings. No Clint Steindl for the Perth Wildcats either this afternoon, with some family commitments as Cotton floats one up. Newley. Kick it. That's his forte. And he drops the bomb on cue.
We had a season-high 18 against the Phoenix, and that's just too easy. Catch and shoot. You've got to make him put it to the floor.
Well, there's probably one thing under the scouting report for Daniel Kickett is run him off the three-point line. If you're Majuk, that is far too easy.
Nice one from Nick Kay, straight back at him. It was only for 2, but had some style about it. Little Euro step, high off the glass. Almost the putback for Walker, but he couldn't get there in time. Tariko, half a jump step. Majuk, he did get it off in time, ricocheted it out of play, so they retain possession. The Wildcats.
And you look at this defense here, fake the little handoff, and just way too much space for Daniel Kickett.
I didn't see a foul there, Trev.
Such 6'10", got that size, and he gets daylight. He's going to be able to get that shot off. Beautiful, very compact shooting technique.
Shot clock winds down. Norton, he ran into kick it. He ran into a roadblock.
And that's where the defense of the Sydney Kings becomes really important when you're sagging off. And if you're not willing to shoot that little floater or mid-range, you're running into a Dan Kickett who's just going to stay there straight up, or a Bogut who's going to try and send it 4 rows back.
Well, that's right, and they've been really good at that mid-range to start this game. We've already seen Tariko White hit a couple.
Newley with the catch, his shoot, went halfway down. No respect from the ball there for the 200th gamer.
Yeah, that's right.
Cotton, he sets it up. Outstanding, Bryce Cotton. He's the best in the business. Settle in. This might be a good afternoon at the office for the superstar. Newley steps it in this time. Tried to get it off the glass or off the rim. Would have taken either. Got neither.
No reach, no reach.
Bryce Cotton, little hand back and one. That's as good as it gets.
A little give and go, and just dropping down to help. The cut there, and beautiful pass. Moving the ball really good as we take a look at the WhatsApp question, and it's a difficult one again to answer. If you think when the game's on the line, who do you want with the ball? Bryce Cotton or Casper Ware? The statistics this season would suggest that Bryce is going to make them.
Well, they do, but you've got to take out, I guess, the whole season. Because
correct.
Casper Ware, with the game on the line, loves to stand up, but both of them have hit game winners aplenty in the last couple of seasons. It'll be interesting to say which way that goes.
Either option's a really good option.
Good start to this for the Wildcats. 18-12. Big game for them. Sydney Kings win this. Almost lock in top spot. Almost. As Kickett backs his way in but misses. But the Wildcats win this. They're a chance to steal top spot before the playoffs start and have that home court advantage. Outstanding crossover. Couldn't get it to drop though this time, Bryce Cotton. Quickly back down the floor. A foul as Sean Bruce tried to take it to the hole. He'll go to the free throw line.
Gee, they spread the floor well. They call their 5 out, their wide options. It's something you see almost every single NBA team using that set, where it's just opening up driving lanes, a pass, a little stagger away, and then play off it. And you see when you've got those great shooters like Daniel Kickett, who has a spell on the floor, you really can't offer too much help. Of course, the key to that type of offense, Dino, is making sure you have those on the perimeter, the ability to knock down a three-point shot, because it's not worth a whole lot if you're prepared to just give it to people out there that aren't all that reliable.
Well, you're going to name names there, Gazy, for a second. That stops an 8-0 scoring run for the Wildcats, those two free throws, 18-14. And a hole this time. Bruce a little overzealous on the rampant Bryce Cotton.
You see there, the plan was jump in front of him, try and top lock him a little bit. Bryce is so shifty, he's got a quick change of pace, and he's there now, but you've got to come over a little bit more. You've got Bogut there to help on the back door.
You know, that's hard on the defense, because you look at that one, Bryce Cotton grabs his arm and throws him away, and then you fight over the top, and the defense gets pinged for the foul.
Good rebound from Cooks. Here's Casper. Bogut over the top to Tate. Little push off by Sean Tate though. So Sean Tate is going to have some big minutes in this one. Normally does play big minutes. Has been ultra reliable, double figures in every game this season, Sean Tate. But no Didi Lozada, so his contribution is going to be massive in this.
It certainly is, and the interesting thing about that, it's the 5th turnover by the Sydney Kings. They've only made 3 field goal baskets. They've got more turnovers than field goals made.
Norton steps it in, off balance. Gave it to Bogey. And he hands to Casper. Bryce Cotton stares him down. Casper takes him on, floats one up high, gets the foul. We'll go to the free throw line where he's pretty comfortable. Casper, he's 80% from there. is a 23-point game this afternoon, away from 2,000 NBL points as well, Casper Ware. Been a huge pickup first season with the Kings after 3 seasons and a championship with Peter Hurley at Melbourne United. He can go.
He can, and
he is a star, but winning can sometimes camouflage a lot of things as well. And if you look at him and you say, well, you've got a guy shooting 39% from the field, 28 or 29% from the three-point line, and if it wasn't for the fact that you're winning and his history and the body of work that he's got, if you just look in isolation, you'd start to say, well, hang on a minute, why are we talking him up so much? It's only because we know what he's about and what he's capable of doing and how he is in big moments that it camouflages some of those other statistical things.
well, if you take out the 3 games he's played against Melbourne United and shot extremely well, those numbers probably look a bit poorer as well. But I'll tell you, one way to get yourself going, he got to the free throw line early, then knocked down a 3, started to get more comfortable. That's a great pass.
Yeah, nice dish off. Plenty more of that if they can. Spike Bullock on the floor now for the Wildcats. Bogut.
Seeing his first significant minutes too early.
Yeah, early, absolutely. Bogut with the hook and gets the friendly roll.
Of course, he had those injuries issues, and here we see again Bogut getting real deep on that catch.
Darius Hunt. Jesse Wagstaff, the old stager, poked it up there. Ultra reliable normally, Jesse. Couldn't get that to drop. The 5-time championship winner with the Wildcats. And we talked about Jashawn Tate, how important his time on the floor is going to be. They've leveled it up at 20 each.
Now we know Andrew Bogut sits off, but have a look. He is playing a one-man zone against Dario Hunt, just almost completely ignoring him. He's just sitting on the basket and just giving him whatever he wants.
Here he goes. He gave him everything he wanted there, and that's exactly what Bogut wanted. Put it up, son, I'll get your rebound. Bogut gets it back. All part of the grand plan here. They can take the lead. Casper Ware's the one he wants.
Dario Hunt doing exactly the same defense against Bogut as well.
Casper! Not this time. Okay, see what the Wildcats can do with a minute left on the clock to end this first. Wagstaff. Norton steps it in. Tough shot. Hooks it off the glass. Gets it to go. Casper. Crossover. Didn't get the friendly bounce. Hunt back to Cotton. Perth can extend this margin again. Little 2-for-1 on offer here for the Wildcats to end the quarter as well, and that one's caught on Xavier Cooks.
Yeah, off the ball. This one, we can take a look at Xavier Cooks and Jesse Wagstaff. Again, not a lot in it. Not sure he really impeded Jesse Wagstaff all that much on that one. You're talking about freedom of movement. I'm sure there was a little bit of contact, but there was some contact being made by both of them, what it looks.
Well, you wonder how much of that has to do with the fact that Perth is so good at executing in back doors and all these screens. If Xavier Cooks is worried a little bit about a slip, it just gets held up, and it's veteran Jesse Wagstaff right there.
One of the all-time great role players in the history of the NBL, Jesse Wagstaff, being a part of, an integral part of the Perth Wildcats' success throughout this decade, and continues to just play his role magnificently.
Yeah, he's 84% from the free throw line too this season, so ultra reliable from there. Oh, big jam from Bogut brings the house down.
Well, it's the elevation. He's got some bounce, but he turned the clock back a little bit on that one. Elbows around rim height, if you don't mind.
That crept up on a Norton little push, gave it to Hunt. He got knocked over. Bogut pulls the rebound down. 2 seconds left. Couldn't get it to Casper for a little tip. Big finish for the first quarter. Sydney Kings 22, Perth Wildcats.
Brightly getting up and down the floor. Really good signs.
Yeah, limited minutes the last 3 games for Andrew Bogut. 10 minutes, 3 rebounds. 17 minutes, 5 rebounds. 18 minutes, 4 rebounds. They're the numbers, minutes and rebounds-wise, in his last 3 games. He might be out there a little bit more if he's moving that sprightly in the second half and the game is a little tighter. They can rest him if it's not as tight. Wagstaff from beyond. Good rebound pulled down by Pozoglu. I'll get a second chance out of the Wildcats.
Pozoglu seeing some early minutes as well.
Tariko, too easy for Tariko.
So both these teams going to their benches, maybe not for a lot, but in short bursts very early in the contest. Nick Pozoglu had an outstanding season in the NBL1 competition with the Melbourne Tigers, and he's the 10th Wildcat to get on the floor.
Casper sees that rattle away.
Kings have already had 9 see some action, so both teams sharing it around.
Norton and the putback for Dario Hunt.
And that's what Bogut wants you to do. He wants you to come in there so he can try and contest, change shots, and
Right here, right here.
you've got to be able to hit that little floater to try and make him change.
He's got a look in his eye at the moment, Andrew Bogut. Sees Dario Hunt, likes his chances, turns on him, gets him in the air. He had 2 come at him, and he was better than both.
The word he was. Size, strength, and positioning. He's got the 9 points and the 6 rebounds, so he might be saying, hey, I've had a bit of a spell the last month. It's time to get back into it.
Oh, what about the stare down by Mitch Norton on Casper Ware? He drops a 3 on him and looks him in the eye.
Hey guys, both watch grabbing. Both watch grabbing.
Biggest margin of the game so far for the Perth Wildcats. For all Andrew Bogut's highlights, they're down by the biggest margin of the game. Jashawn Tate gets him in the air. He gets himself a nice 2.
And he is just a ball down low. Never looks too out of control. Only one time so far this season when he tried to go off the backboard to himself in transition on a 1-on-4. Besides that, he's so well controlled.
Tariko, always the shooter, the first man to know it's going to miss. He gets his own rebound. Norton, step back 3. No way. Casper looked at that and said, come on, you're stretching it now. Wagstaff's gone down, and there's a bit of physicality out there.
I think the foul's going to be on Wagstaff. He just grabbed Tate early. Let's have a look at the top of the screen there. You see the little contact. It's just 2 guys going at it. How you can determine it's actually going to be on Tate.
I didn't see it.
And they both seem to grab each other.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, but it's your contact first.
Well, I'm not so sure about that.
Nice little referee critique
Offensive foul.
from Andrew Bogut. They're calling a few of them. Offensive foul. There's your evener upper.
1-6.
It is, and I don't mind
Offensive foul.
the fouls when
Gotta get set.
the screen's moving.
Get
Because
set on the
it's
screen.
so hard to play defense. That's a clear one, the shuffling of feet to the left. The switch was coming, and he just tried to screen his own man. So that is a very good call.
And it's more, do you see the point of Bogut not guarding Hunt there, guarding the first screen so they can switch out with Jashawn Tate playing the 4 and have the 1 through 4 guys switching.
Bogut likes his chances on Hunt, not this time. Norton quickly. Bryce Cotton. Tariko White got inside. Rejected by Andrew Bogut, but he was fouled on the way, so he will go to the line.
Hey,
It is, and this is the most aggressive we've seen Andrew Bogut in the offensive end. 4 of 5, 9.6 rebounds, and then down the other end. And both teams playing similar type defense. And as I watch these games, this is not just here in Australia. These defensive strategies are used right throughout the country. As we take a look at the Looney Tunes jerseys, and there's some absolute beauties in there that are available at the NBL.store.com.au if you want to purchase one. And the Perth of the Sylvester, and Sydney a little bit of Daffy Duck going on.
Saw a little bit of Daffy
nice.
Duck in the crowd during the course of pre-game NBL Looney Tunes collection. That's not all, folks. You can get yourself a piece of the action yourself if you go to the NBL store, nblstore.com.au. and be a part of it, part of Hungry Jack's Looney Tunes NBL round. Feed to Casper, outstanding, and the finish just as cool.
Well, Rhys Vague's checked in the game, so in the first 13 minutes of this contest, the Perth Wildcats have got 11 different players have seen action.
Wow. Bryce Cotton again. Jesse Wagstaff. Tariko White. Shot clock winds down. He puts up the 3 air ball. To Sean Tate. Corner, Newley, Shaban. Happy milestone game for Brad Newley.
Loves shooting those threes from the corners, Brad Newley. But you're right, Drewy, but without Clint Steindl, a guy who comes in, knows his role, plays between 20-25 minutes, depending on if he's making shots. Trev Gleason's got to find someone else to step up and who's going to put the ball in the basket. Give everybody a go early, see who can hit a shot, and then you can roll with a different lineup in the second half.
Tough shot put up by Bryce Cotton. Nice little one-on-one between those two. Newley again down the floor. Came into this game having made just 3 of his last 17 three-point shots. As this one's taken to the hole by Deshaun Taylor. And he wants to get the crowd back in with Deshaun.
He's got the pom-poms out, scoring buckets and getting the fans engaged as well. I love it. Renowned for his defensive ability in the college ranks, and the last couple of weeks just becoming a little bit more comfortable in this system and get up and get into it. And what a fantastic crowd. Kudos Bank drawn here today. 10,000 plus by the look of things.
And this is part of a big double header as well. Great to have your company for this one from Kudos Bank Arena. But after this one's done and dusted, check your local guides. Make sure you settle in for South, East, Melbourne, Phoenix.
With it. And they're playing some good basketball, those young fellas in Illawarra.
So that's a little later today. Right now it's first versus second on the Hungry Jacks NBL20 ladder. And it's all tied up at 33 apiece between first and second. Tariko White. Little shake step, didn't work, rejected. They get another chance at it. Damian Martin, who's been called from outside the arc, so he gives it up to Nick Kay. To Cotton. He steps back for the 3. Oh, baby, that's good.
That is not beyond good. That is just extraordinary by Cotton. The body control with the step back, fantastic stuff.
Walker from the corner, that's not his shot.
Correct, Dwayno. Correct. And I'm sure Will Weaver agrees.
But you leave a man free for long enough, he's got to think, hang on, I'm uncontested. I've got to make this. Damian Martin should make that. He's been super cold, Damian Martin, of recent times, scoring-wise. Casper steps in on Damian, turns on him. Little spin move and the put away in the end from Xavier Cooks. Ripper game right now. We expected it. Perth Wildcats need to win this away from home to keep their chances alive of having top spot and home court advantage in the playoffs. Sydney Kings win this. It's hard to see them losing top spot before the playoffs. Cooks. Walker doesn't put it up this time. Gave it to kick it. Almost at his pocket, picked by Cotton.
The way teams play, like I was talking about before, when you sit off those screens and you encourage that mid-range contested too. Now, maybe I'm a little old-fashioned, but I think back to some of the players in the past. I think back to guys like Shane Hill, Derek Rucker, Steve Woodbury, Leroy Loggins, where you were allowed to take a mid-range jump shot. That averaged 50.
Little step back attempt to Ganji. Beautiful arc. An outstanding rainbow dropped for 3. And Deshaun Taylor, who, as Andrew Gaze told you, against the Phoenix last week, 5 3-pointers. He is in white-hot form now. Little over the back work from Cotton. Rhys Vague. That's why I'm giving it to you, Rhys. You can do that if you put your mind to it.
Well, that is his shot. That's how he's been built the last couple of years, developing that stretch 4 position.
Cooks the reverse. This game's getting better by the second.
Another great feed by Sean Bruce. Great play, great backdoor, and that's a tough finish. And we said Xavier Cooks was going to come in for a big one. He's got 4 and 4 already in this first half.
Nick Kay. Lucas Walker trying to make it tough for him. He stares him down. Walker did enough. Kick it. Cotton. Deshaun Taylor. Oh, kick it. Thought about it. Reece Vague made it tough for him. Stepped it in. Two came at him. Triple teamed. Walker. Bruce. Shot clock winds down and organised chaos. Was nice to watch from the Sydney Kings in the end.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of chaotic action. It was just fantastic ball movement. Swinging around. They were prepared to make the extra pass and then the easy one to Bruce.
Kay to the corner. Damien Martin saved it, but then gave it. On a bit of a roll right now. The Sydney Kings. Purple patch for the boys in purple. Corner. He's doing it again. He can do it.
Well, there you go, Drewy.
Lucas Walker fills it up. Shuts us up.
No, I'm not going to shy away. I mean, that is a great hit. And the context of that shot was a lot better than that first attempt, but still not saying that's one that Perth Wildcats aren't going to live with.
Oh, from way outside.
Please.
He banks that in, Bruce. He banks that in. That was a work of art. That was deliberate.
Guaranteed he never called back though, Dwayno. Just when things are rolling, momentum going your way, why not? Gee whiz. There it is, and he's open for a reason, and they're going to make him prove it from there, the Perth Wildcats. Let's not forget Trevor Gleeson knows a lot about him as well. And there's Bruce pulling up, and just an absolute gift for the Sydney Kings.
It's a 10-0 run for the Sydney Kings. The games have been hot so far this round. Cairns and Melbourne United was a ripper, 2 points in it. What about the New Zealand Breakers?
Yes.
Yeah, what a finish to that. That was phenomenal to watch that unfold. Hope you're enjoying watching this one as well. It's Nick Kay goes for the reverse. And the foul by Andrew Bogut. He hammered his arm. The crowd don't agree, but Dario Hunt does.
And I believe that was on Xavier Cooks with his hand in there, which is going to be his third.
That as well, man.
Ooh.
So Dario Hunt, who's only 57% from the free throw line.
Yes.
Oh no, you're calling burgers, Dwayno?
No, I'm just calling one or two here. I'll stick with the stats.
And there's a reason why he's 57%, and it's because of this little conniption halfway through his shot. Just that little sort of, I really don't want to shoot it, but I know I have to. Conniption halfway through that hurts that technique. The follow-through's not shockingly bad.
It's a shot fake, Drew.
Goes shot pocket and then just loses it halfway through it. That's
Hungry Jacks. No, he put the second. He was 1 of 2. He stuck to the stat line. All right, big 2 minutes coming up here to half-time. Andrew Bogut. He faked, or he wanted to go to the hole with a big Statue of Liberty dunk. Couldn't get away with it. To the corner, Bruce. Almost to Sean Tate. That would have been a good putback. Martin. Trevor Gleeson's screaming at the rest at the moment. Nick Kay. Tried the up fake, nearly lost it. Gets it off the glass. Dario Hunt.
Good call. Just here, good the net.
and that's
Hit the net, okay.
That's Hunt's go when he competes like that on the boards, those second shots. That's what he's in there, and the work that he does on the defensive end. Good player, good basketball IQ, and just got to use his size and strength. Little zone now by the Perth Wildcats.
Bogut. Bruce. Deshaun Tate, Euro step, off the glass. Class move.
I mean, it was well worked. They got where they wanted, get in that high post area. And as I said, Deshaun Tate, he's really well poised there. And if he didn't have that layup, he had the drop off the Bows, who would have dunked it home.
Perth Wildcats led by 7. They're now down by 6. And they're picked off here. Could be down by more. Couple of behind the back moves from Deshaun Tate. Newley wants to give it back to him. Bogut says, that's not wasted, boys. make something of it. Casper Ware time. Dario Hunt pulls the rebound down and saves the day. Wildcats dodge a little bullet. Bryce Cotton and Casper Ware. A long way from home, Bryce Cotton. Just setting up Sean Bruce. Gets his way inside, hands it up. Shot clock down to 1. Hunt doesn't realise it. Beautiful stop by the Kings.
Well, it was, but Perth Wildcats just got to be more alert. Just lost track of the shot clock. And this time, Bryce Cotton, you see the help coming because it's down. And that's where Dario Hunt, and you don't want him to have the ball in that situation with only a second or two to go. But when you do catch, you've got to be aware of the clock and just get one up and get it on the rim.
Andrew Bogut just doing a little bit of coaching and refereeing at the same time. Don't forget, you can get a piece of the action through the NBL app. You can download the official NBL app to your mobile device. Stay up to date on all the latest news, information, your favourite Hungry Jacks NBL teams and players. And best of all, it's free. You can download it at the App Store or Google Play today. 4 seconds left. What are they drawing up here?
Well, you can't advance the ball, so it's going to be one where you're looking to one or two passes are the only options you've got, and obviously you're thinking Casper Ware in these circumstances, but the penetration in the dish is still going to provide that opportunity for a perimeter look. So they would have some action, advance it, one or two other actions for a shot. And as you'd expect, you hear replacement Daniel Kickett coming on for Andrew Bogut for offensive purposes.
All right, 5 seconds left to the halftime break. Perth Wildcats had a handy break early. Got to get it down and get the shot up here. Sydney Kings will take the lead in at the half. Bruce's shot to take. Gets past them, but he took too long. I think they're going to wave that off.
I think they are.
One step too many from Sean Bruce. His internal clock didn't go off in time.
You going with him?
They'll check it, but it looked like it was late from here. 50-44 in a pivotal game in this Hungry Jacks NBL20 season between the Sydney Kings, who are top, and used to pull a crowd down in Geelong as well.
My word.
Yep,
Absolutely. Him and Ian Davies, what a package they put together.
Second half underway. Sydney Kings 50, Perth Wildcats 44. First versus second on the Hungry Jacks NBL20 ladder. Full house, Kudos Bank Arena, stage set with the best man arguably ever to play in this league putting one up. Doesn't see that drop, Andrew Bogut. Good to see him playing plenty of minutes. 783 NBA games. Our #1 draft pick into the NBA. And he keeps drawing crowds like some of the old superstars did. Shake and bake from Bryce Cotton. Couldn't finish it off. Cooks the rebound.
And they're those shots that we talk about you're prepared to live with, even if it is Bryce Cotton.
Catch and shoot. Casper had a look.
Well, you mentioned him not being shy at the start, Drewy, and he went to the free throw line, knocked his first three down, getting fouled, then knocked another one down, but he's 2 of 9 right now, and it helps when you have so many different contributors on your team, as we mentioned.
We've got 9 players that scored a field goal.
Tareko White sees that flicked away, and it's still a Wildcats ball. They get a break there.
And it was like that last Monday against the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, where they put up 110 points, and Daniel Kickett with 18 was their leading scorer. So they're really sharing it around, getting everyone involved.
Cotton quickly, 1 second left, had to put the shot up, and he was fouled with 1 left. Wow, Xavier Cooks realises what a blue that was.
And that's his 4th, and when you're coming out of the halftime break and you've got 3 fouls, the last thing you want to do is get a fourth early, and he's been a bit unlucky on a couple, Xavier Cooks, but when you've got 3 and it's that early, at what point do you risk?
Well, that's true, and it's the old hand caught in the cookie jar there. He just presented it and tempted him enough to reach in.
Brad Newley, your foul.
Foul before
We're going to do the counter or
the shot. Oh, having a chat about it here.
Counter first, no basket first. No basket second. First and we'll counter. Yeah. We'll come back on the foul.
We're going to have a look at this. I think it's to say, well, when was the foul committed? Just letting Trevor know.
What about that?
Aware of the rules?
That is fantastic. Trevor Gleeson being told by the rest, we know the rules and we don't need any of your advice. Hope you caught that at home.
And was it you, Halls, that was suggesting that let's just, I think in this day and age, we can afford a swivel on the screen so the referees don't need to go behind the bench and just keep them in front, save probably 15 to 20 seconds. Here we have a look. There's the foul and there's the shot. So it's in fact, a good foul by Brad Newley, if in fact it's as we think it is, that it should be from the side, but we've got some of these wrong that seem pretty obvious in the past.
No basket, you're spot on.
Well, you're right, Drewy, and I've heard some good things that swivel monitors may be on their way. And you're right, it would save a couple of seconds, and I'm glad they got that one right, because it even looked like when the foul occurred and the whistle happened was 2 different times, so probably could have had an argument either way, but that was the right call.
All right, Damien Martin with the ball in hand. They need some momentum back, the Wildcats here. Norton turns baseline and drops in a valuable 2. In fact, it was Nick Kay dropped in a valuable 2 for the Wildcats. They slowly wind their way back. Newley Euro steps them. Bogut with the putback.
Just being there, attacking the rim, not expecting it to go in, and in the right place at the right time, gets another 2.
Tarico, catch, turn, shoot, 3. Here they come.
We talked about them being the best executing team in the league, and you saw it right there. Have Bryce come up and then send Tarico off the screen and way to turn the corner and knock that one down. Jashawn
Tate steps inside. Nick Kay made it tough for him, made it too tough for him. And Majuk with the rebound.
It goes there.
Wow. Big 3.
That's the one.
In the blink of an eye, the Perth Wildcats, thanks to Bryce Cotton's stardom, have tied it up.
Well, if you're not going to get any help from the screeners, it is a very demanding exercise to chase over those drag screens.
Bogut with the floater on the run, that rims out. They can take the lead here, the Wildcats. Tarico pulls it down the floor. Sizes up his options. Got Newley in the air. Doesn't want to waste it. Martin, they're on a hot run. Martin's been cold from the arc. In fact, he's been cold scoring full stop. Damien Martin in the last 3 games.
Well, it is, that's not his forte, but he's another one of those ones, despite the numbers, when the game's on the line in those crunch moments, he has the uncanny ability to knock down ones that statistically you'd normally expect him to miss. Only shooting it at 28% from the field on the season.
Bogut had it, lost it, travelled. Yeah, Damien Martin coming into this game hadn't scored for his last 3 games, and he was number 13 from the field coming into this game. So
and that in itself is not something that would be ringing alarm bells, because he does so much more. He's the defensive end, the way in which he organises, distributes the ball, all those things. And scoring is a real bonus for him. And it's just those little gimmies, not so much the last one, the gimmies he needs to make.
Okay, tried the reverse to protect it. He got hammered, didn't get the call. Jashawn Tate to the corner, Deshaun Taylor. High intensity game at the moment. 52 apiece. This battle between the 1 and 2 team on the Hungry Jacks NBL20 ladder. And Bryce Cotton shows us his class, but Andrew Bogut shows us his in reply.
Well, let's just tackle up. Over here, over here.
Well, it does. Good work by Bogues, reading it. Taylor doing everything he can. There you see just a little bump. And Bogues stops the M1. And it's almost...
You can head to NBL20 to enter.
I'm willing to call that the greatest sporting prize in the history of the world.
Yep.
That is an extraordinary set of prizes we've got on offer.
Absolutely, that's why we're giving it a bit of love, and you can get a piece of the action like Casper Ware Jr. got a piece of the action then.
Well, there's only one prize better, and that's joining the great Dwayne Wassell on a bike ride for Christmas.
Oh,
jeez.
That might be next year.
You and me come and watch the Lakers Rockets in a couple of weeks too, if you want, boys.
Jeez.
Looking forward to seeing a little bit of NBA action. By the way, the NBL action just as good as anything we've seen this year around the world, and that is the exact example why. We've got stars filling it up left, right and centre.
And this is what they did when they played the Kings in Perth. The way that the Sydney Kings defend that on ball, you always have a chance to shoot, but that guy started to turn it on a little bit in the last couple of minutes, Casper Ware.
You do, and Sydney getting good value of getting to the rim the last couple of possessions. And the Perth Wildcats, it really lights out. 8 of 15, 53% from the three-point line. They're only shooting it at 41% overall, but white hot from the three-point line, keeping them in this one.
It's getting hot in this full Kudos Bank Arena. Another 10,000 plus crowd in. Sydney Kings have been pulling crowds all season. The Wildcats had a chance to take the lead on that Cotton three, but didn't get enough on it. Casper Ware starting to have some fun. Gets inside and got hammered on his way to the hoop.
1, 6.
Ooh.
Hey, guys.
Couple of nouns and verbs from Casper.
A little bit of jawjacking going on. Damian Martin, you see him, he went to the sideline and had a significant limp. It's at the top of your screen. So that's a concern and being looked at by the physicians on the sideline. So they wouldn't want to lose him, although he's not shooting the ball that well. As I said, it undervalues what he brings to the table.
And 1.
Let's head downstairs. Louise Ransom.
Thanks very much, guys. I thought I'd just fill you in on the two guys that both teams are missing today, and two guys who know how to score points. From the Wildcats, Clint Steindl, he didn't make the trip east. He's waiting on the arrival of his first child with his partner, Kayla, which is lovely. And she, of course, most recently played for the Perth Lynx in the WNBL. And for the Kings, they're missing their Brazilian import, Didi Luzada. He's out for 2 to 3 weeks with a calf injury suffered in Sydney's win against South East Melbourne earlier this week. So 2 key players missing for either side today.
Thanks for that, Louise. Louise Ransom downstairs as Deshaun Taylor shows us some of his magic.
And when we saw the Didi Luzada go down,
what
wow.
about that off balance? That defies physics, how Tariko White got that to go.
Well, Cotton and White had scored 14 of their 16 in this quarter. So they're the ones that are carrying the load, and now we see a blocking foul.
You're moving forward to the point of contact.
Mitch Norton, Casper Ware, how have you been watching that little to and fro?
Sub red, sub blue.
Well, they've got both Damian Martin and Mitch Norton, who can both be those little pesty defenders, and they like to get up and in and make you frustrated. But that one was called on Daniel Kickett for a moving screen.
Yeah,
and that looks like a rolled ankle.
Well, I saw on the replay, Dwayne, they were pushing under his heel on the pad, so whether something happened on that.
Offensive foul.
Offensive foul called. Huge call.
1, 6.
and this is going to be
Keep an eye on that then.
a critical couple of minutes because Bryce Cotton's just checked out of the game and they've relied on him so heavily on the offensive end. Ooh, was his heel on the no charge line?
You know it was.
It looked like it from this angle, Dwayno.
You know, you don't ask questions you don't know the answer to.
I do sometimes because
never
I lack a little confidence because sometimes I see things and other people
Come back,
judge it differently.
We got a little lucky there. Stage is set for a big 4 minutes and a final quarter to go with it, and maybe some overtime between first and second in the first of our double header. This time Sean Bruce is unlucky. Perth Wildcats with the lead back by 1. Tariko White having an impact. Not this time, and the ball grabbed by Daniel Kickett, and that's a couple in a row called on Dario Hunt. He doesn't agree with either of them.
If we take a look at the replay, Tariko White knows he's got to take control of this one, and there you just see the over the back, and to me that is one, that's a no call. It didn't really impact Kickett. I'm not sure that that's one that we need to call.
And I'm with you on that. Unless Kickett fumbles it and falls out of bounds or it falls into a Wildcats play, that's one that can... Exactly right. Well, that's one that can be left alone because that's Hunt's 4th foul and he's been playing very well.
Beautiful in the air.
Deshaun Taylor gets it back again.
In the air.
It's been hot in his last couple of games. He gives it away. And just beyond the arc, that would have been huge for momentum. But it's still the Wildcats with the lead. And now with the rock. Kay. Wagstaff. Norton. Rebounds massive. Get a second chance out of the Wildcats. Tariko White to set it up. See if he goes from long range. He does, and he's fouled on it by just Sean Tate. He roped him in. And he won the call.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned it, Drewy, at the start. When you're trying to defend a 3-point shooter and you've got to give him space to land, and I think that one was a pretty obvious one. And you talk about Bryce Cotton gets a lot of those fouls when he shoots a 3 because of how high he jumps. And we have a look at the WhatsApp answer, and Bryce Cotton, he's hit that many of them that you're probably not surprised with that outcome.
There might be a few outages in Perth. The Red Army getting behind one of their own. I wouldn't have thought that it would be that big a difference, albeit that on this season's form, you'd probably lean more towards Bryce Cotton.
Well, he's had so many of them and so many that stick into your memory. And mind you, it's a bit of a tough question because it doesn't know how long's left in the game. You're talking about the last exact shot or someone to bring it home in the last quarter. So both aren't bad options, Drew.
No, they're not.
Even that man.
That's right. That's 18 consecutive points between White and Cotton.
What about Peter Hurley praising his own WhatsApp question? Offensive foul. It's waved off. I love your work, Hawks.
I thought we were just keeping that in-house.
Well, I thought we were keeping the fact that I was wearing Lycra going for bike rides over summer in-house, but he threw that one out there.
That's true.
So the little offensive foul has been called. And Andrew Bogut with a death stare.
4 or 5 now we've seen on off-the-ball screening.
Tariko hands it back out, and he blasted his way through to Sean Taylor. And we're getting some calls now, guys.
Here we look at it, and Taylor
Thanks, mate. I'll swap.
did everything right, held his ground, and just got ran over.
Louise Ransom with an update on Damian Martin's ankle.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. We saw him go off, and I've just spoken to the Wildcats physio, keeping his cards pretty close to his chest, as you can imagine, but a soft tissue injury, they think, at this stage. And you saw a few teammates just giving a bit of a pat on the back as well. So I'll try and find out some more information, but that's all they're telling me at this stage.
Thanks, Louise. It looks like he's rolled it. Well, syndesmosis is the term, I think. He's got that ice on the inside. That's probably worse news than having it on the outside. It was a surprise to me that he doesn't have it strapped. 35-year-old without his ankle strap. But it's a choice of players, I'm told. It's not compulsory as Norton takes it high to the glass.
This is a small lineup the Perth Wildcats are going. You saw that last possession, no help coming, Kay and Bogut one-on-one, and you suspect that they'll go back to that.
Taylor, nowhere to go. Sean Bruce. Single-figure shot clock. Newley realised it, tried the finger roll, didn't work. Wagstaff, that is a big-time hit from the old guy winding the clock back.
Well, this has just been an exceptional three-point field goal percentage displayed by the Wildcats. 10 of 19.
Sean Bruce. And off Swakala-Bullock, well played by Deshaun Taylor, who was clever enough there. But again, we're going deep into this Wildcats roster with one who's Swakala-Bullock, the 18-year-old, out on the floor in crucial minutes here.
And Wagstaff wide open on that last three-point field goal attempt.
Get set, get set.
Newley.
Here.
Casper Ware. Bogut. Kay right with him. Travels.
A little shuffling the feet. Sydney have only scored 12 points this quarter. Now, if they don't score again, that'll be their equal lowest quarter score for the season. So it's still a little bit of time left. Just a very subtle shuffling of the feet by Bogues on that one.
Wagstaff to set it up again. Got some space, Bryce. Weaves straight through them like a surgeon with his knife. Went straight through the lot of them.
Hey, careful.
Well, Bryce Cotton and Tariq White doing what they consistently do and just score in bunches. A little hezzy, you've got to go out there because he can knock it down so easily, and
Andrew, we got
he can score from absolutely anywhere.
Warning, behaviour.
And Bogues gets called for the elbow. You saw him in there. He camouflaged it really, really well, but not well enough, because it's the little push with the forearm into the midsection of Bryce Cotton that caught him out, and he goes to the line to shoot the bonus. So a really good run in this quarter by the Perth Wildcats, an outstanding defense holding the Sydney Kings to only 12.
Yeah, you're spot on. They led by 7 early, Perth. Sydney had a 6-point halftime lead, and now this is back out to the biggest margin of the game for the Wildcats, 8 points. Casper Ware. There you go. Come the moment, cometh the man.
Correct. The bigger the occasion, the more reliable he is.
Perth Wildcats to have the last say of the quarter. They lead by 5. They're going to take a lead in for the last quarter. How big will the lead be? It's Bryce Cotton time. His shot to take. He hands it up instead, though. Kay steps inside. Tough fade away. Rims out. Bogut, but points something. Elects not to take the shot, but they get the stop. More importantly, pivotal game in the Hungry Jacks NBL20 season, and it looks like it'll go down to the wire between first and second. Settle in, last quarter coming up next. These two teams are turning it on right now, and we expect them to want the ball in their hand at critical times of this last quarter as well, and that's not a bad stat there. Never is a long time.
Well, when you got those two who can score in bunches, and how good the Perth Wildcats are in third quarters always, they came out there and showed it, especially those two. Bryce Cotton with 21 and Tariq with 24. So,
oh, and there's Tariq on cue for you. Didn't quite get it to go.
But based on that stat, then do I know that they're behind then?
You never like going into the last quarter where you've got to create a bit of history, but I think these circumstances here are a little bit different to some we've seen in the past, and they've got their hands full, the Perth Wildcats, and I'm not sure who that
was on Nick Kozoglu for coming in, which was a tough one. I thought he just did a good effort of getting his hands on the offensive board.
So the foul called on Kozoglu again.
He's just trying to fight over the top of the screens, and it is hard. When you're playing that drops and you're guarding the ball, you've got to make yourself super skinny and try and fight over and squeeze over the top of those screens, and it's hard to avoid the foul. And just a wrap with the right arm on Bogues brought him undone.
And early momentum is going to be huge. That's a monster to start this last quarter. Tariq White back out to Wagstaff. Couldn't get the instant reply. Sean Bruce fouled. Kozoglu doing some damage. Might be having a sit down shortly.
We're talking about records. He's had 3 fouls in the last 40 seconds.
Oh,
Oh, dear.
And it was tough from the angle the referee was at, but he didn't. He's just running alongside there, and as you said, he's already had another couple soft ones, which is not what you want as a young player getting some time in a big game.
Oh, no, you're not good. One, it's arguably not even a foul. And two, if this leads to 2 and possession,
No way.
it's
Casey.
not in line with the purpose of the rule.
So would you like the referees to go to the video and say, look, we actually got that call wrong? Not only...
Well, they're not allowed to, but...
No, but I mean, have a look at it.
Well,
and say, well, hang on.
common sense has prevailed and say, listen, we've made a bit of a blunder here. It probably wasn't even a foul. So we're not going to double penalise you in this circumstance. And they do the right thing and take it back, and the Sydney Kings will get it from out of bounds.
All right, order is restored. Wildcats have lost 3 of their last 4 games here in Sydney. Top spot's up for grabs if they beat the Kings in this one. They could grab top spot before the playoffs, and you finish top, you might not need to win here in the playoffs. That's the beauty of being top. Cotton in the air, Casper Ware everywhere.
Well, he's looked at the WhatsApp answer, hasn't he? And he's come out on fire in the 4th quarter.
Sydney Kings back in front. The Casper and Cotton show. Cotton this time. It is deafening in here. Bryce Cotton. It rattled out, but the right man was there for the putback. Majuk.
These are huge minutes to have Nick Pozoglu, who's an emerging player, have him on the floor. Big minutes for him.
Casper Ware.
Oh, no.
Catch, shoot, awesome.
Well, you knew he was going to keep shooting no matter what that percentage was, that he can get him going when he starts seeing it like that.
Wow. The crowd is in awe of this performance from Casper Ware and Bryce Cotton at the moment. And Cotton with the teardrop on the run. Just as tough, just as pretty. And it's all tied up, 74 apiece. Bogut. Sean Bruce gives it back to the man of the moment. He had to give it up to Cooks. He was double-teamed. Newley gets it back. Little flick from Bogut. Newley fouled on the way to the bucket. And look at the emotion from Andrew Bogut. He's been a superstar around the world. He's been a superstar for Australia. 783 NBA games. And he is loving it in the cauldron of Kudos Bank Arena in our NBL right now.
Absolutely, Quano, and he also understands how important that basket is. Go to the line to make the bonus, and just another huge crowd.
Oh,
11,500.
Yeah.
First time since 1994, consecutive home games over 10 foul. Sydney fans coming out in droves, as they should. This fantastic team on top of the table, play an entertaining brand of basketball, superstars galore, and in one of a world-class venue. Kudos Bank Arena doesn't get much better than that in Australia either.
First versus second on the NBL ladder. The fans have turned out for it. Nick Kay, Andrew Bogut, huge rebound, and he's threatening to be the dominant force. Deshaun Taylor. He put it up. He's dropped a couple of big ones in this game and the last couple of games. Bryce Cotton. He had some space. They just want the ball in their hand. Keep putting the shots up, they'll drop. That's the mentality. Newley. Catch and shoot, he's done it again. But this time it rims out. Virtually didn't even look where the hole was.
That was going up before he'd even caught it, Dwayno.
Yeah. Okay, some poise here. Want to get a quality shot up rather than a quick shot and a crazy shot. To Rico White. Gets some room.
Pass.
Hands it up to Kay. Fouled him away to the bucket, and that was classy.
How's the pass, though? He comes off. He's been white hot. 24 points, 8 of 16, but he sees that half help. So Bogues is a lot higher than he should be, but he knows White's hot, so he steps up, and there's the payoff. Now that's a tough pass to thread the needle through the traffic. But there's the penalty when Bogues, and you don't have pressure on the ball, and you're in that no man's land, so to speak, where you're not high enough to put pressure on the ball, but you're too high to deal with that roll-off pass. It becomes a good play by Tariko White.
Well, you're right, it's no man's land, because even if Tariko shoots that, it's a good shot because no one's there to contest it, and it's a great awareness by Nick Kay to have his hands ready to catch that bullet.
Casper Ware, the step back, put him on skates and drop 3 on them. Casper Ware is a sensation. If this is your first NBL game you've watched all season, this is what happens on a regular basis from guys like Casper Ware and Bryce Cotton. From one end to the other, blow for blow. And what about this? The Zammit family, for every game this round as part of our Looney Tunes free throw competition, a family of 4 selected by the club to participate in a shot for the prize to Movie World, valued at $368. Pass allows access for 2 adults and 2 children. Prize doesn't include flights and accommodation, but $368 worth of passes. You can get a piece of the action as part of that Looney Tunes free throw competition. And of course, you can get yourself a jersey while you're there from the NBL store, nblstore.com.au.
Where was the prize to? What was it, Toronto?
It was to Movie World.
Well, the people at Movie World, they weren't so nervous about that when they saw what was going on. Very good effort by the way, but
it's a Zammit family.
Well,
probably spent a lot of time in the backyard perfecting it.
Just
cheerio, they're the family that won today.
No, there was a fan. They go home with the prize.
Oh, yes, they do.
A fantastic prize.
Absolutely.
Just some of the elbow action.
Andrew Gay's offering to give you some private tuition.
Just
Salmon family.
A little bit of arc.
All right, this joint's a rocking. 6 minutes and change left. Sydney Kings back in front by 3. Tariko White. Tariko gets it back. His catch and shoot rims out. Big rebound on offer and kick it. Norton went up.
Really tough shot. Good drawn up play for the 3-ball. Design play. Little windscreen wiper action off the high screen. But Tariko never really had his feet set and rushed that a little and come up short, and Norton gets called for the foul.
And in normal game rotations, and normally you'd be giving Casper Ware a little bit of a rest here, and then to finish out the last quarter strong. But he's already scored 12 points, and he's had a 21-point quarter already this year, 4th quarter, against the Cairns Taipans.
And being in the bonus so early in the quarter, against some teams you can sort of live with it, but against a team like the Sydney Kings that's putting heat on the rim most of the time, it makes the job defensively all that more harder when you've got no margin for error. Every single foul is going to lead to a couple of free throw attempts, defensive fouls that is.
Only feels like a moment ago the Wildcats led by 8.
Push off.
Push off. Tariko White called for that. And this crowd is going off. 11,000 plus. And I know it's back-to-back 10,000 plus crowds, but don't forget earlier this season had the record all-time crowd of 17,514.
And you know, I know there's a lot of the Red Army sitting back and saying, turn it up, fellas. This is just a modest crowd for us over here in Perth.
Yep.
Such is the popularity right throughout the country these days, and Perth do an exceptional job.
Here's Casper for the catch and shoot again. Nick Kay pulls down the rebound. Might be making that old bloke that's here January 7, a little nervous that he can get this kind of atmosphere going, but good luck to you, Elton. Bryce Cotton, shake and bake. Oh, Elton, can you follow that?
Nope. I'm sorry. Crocodile Rock ain't gonna cut it when you see Bryce Cotton dropping trifectas like that.
That's under the bucket. Wagstaff saves it. 81-79. Bryce, floater off the glass. Kay was there, but he couldn't snaffle it. Quickly, Casper, she thought about going to the bank again. Gonna pull it back. Take it back on.
Exceptional by Norton on that defensive effort.
Everybody takes a breath here. Cooks. Air ball. Are we about to see another little momentum swing in favour of the Wildcats again? Offensive foul. That's waved off. That is a massive call.
There's a bit of early celebrations. Have a look at the replay. Yeah, you can't move like that. They've been consistent right throughout the game. You've got to hold your ground, and if they're going to fight underneath, he's going to have that separation anyway. He really didn't need to go to that effort that time in order to create that separation.
Well, I'm wondering if Nick Kay was a little shocked that they decided to go under Bryce Cotton there and instead of chasing him round, because you're right, he was going to be open regardless.
Just Sean Tate. He was there for him. Couldn't finish. Bryce Cotton, well, he's just dropped one that was waved off. Hands it up to Tariko White. Gives it to Mitch Norton. Jesse Wagstaff. The old man just keeps filling it up.
Well, Cotton and White have got 50 of their 82. They've dominated. They're looking for some other targets, and given the strength of those two, people are going to be open. That time Wagstaff wide open and good enough to knock it down.
Been OMG moment after OMG moment in this game. Andrew Bogut with the jam, but Casper Ware Jr. has single-handedly turned this game in favour of the Sydney Kings by dropping three-point bomb after three-point bomb and blowing the roof off this joint.
Yes, 31 points, 9 of 19 from the field, 6 of 12 from the three-point line, and a perfect 7 of 7 from the free throw line. And he's only got the one assist. But what a dominant display on the offensive end.
So if you are unaware of the situation, the Sydney Kings are top. They've played 17 and they've got 13 wins. Perth Wildcats are second. They've played 18 and have 12 wins. So they can level it up on 13 wins apiece if they win this one this afternoon. And then a little bit later on, the second of our doubleheader, South East Melbourne Phoenix, who are in the shuffle up for fourth spot against Illawarra. That's at Melbourne Arena later tonight. We've got a doubleheader coming your way tomorrow that's massive. Adelaide and New Zealand, followed by Melbourne United and Brisbane. A couple of games coming away New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Check your local guides. If this is any indication of what's to come, then this season's just going to get better by the minute. Casper Ware steps back on Bryce Cotton. Didn't work for him then.
Sean Tate is the other one. He's scored in double figures in every single game this season. And he's hasn't had a lot of opportunities in this one this afternoon. He's only got the 6 points.
Wagstaff turns baseline. Tough fade away. Push on Norton under the bucket for the rebound attempt. So
it was on Brad Newley coming over the back of Norton.
Bogut's coming back out.
And there you see Newley just a little too aggressive on that rebounding effort.
All right. Maybe Cook's on 4. Dario Hunt on 4. Tariko White. Stripped by Bogut. Just got a hand in. Sean Tate takes it down the floor and flipped off the rim by Kay. Amazing piece of work.
Great heads-up play by Nick Kay, almost an over and back.
Can they parlay that into a basket here, Perth? Bryce Cotton hands it up. Kay, Wagstaff. Big rebound for Cooks. Nick Kay thought he had it.
Norton has been huge on the defensive end.
Sean Tate to the corner. Newley. Nick Kay.
I don't know if there's a stat for it, but Nick Kay would be best in the league at knocking the ball off the rim. He times it so well.
Bryce Cotton, was he fouled? Was he fouled on the three-pointer? He put it in regardless. But he is sensational in these moments in games. Casper Ware drives his way inside, floats one in. This is ridiculous.
Well, we wanted to see a Casper Ware versus Bryce Cotton matchup, and we are seeing one of the best. 29 for Bryce Cotton, 33 for Casper Ware. This is why there's 11,000 people here watching.
Well, this is a playoff preview between these two. Bryce Cotton, no way. Can you believe what we're watching unfold before our eyes here?
Just elite shooting from the perimeter.
Casper Ware, no. Bogut will put it back.
That's one that missed so badly. Actually went in the favour of Andrew Bogut and against the Perth Wildcats. Huge play coming up for the Wildcats.
Well, we expected it from first versus second. They have turned it on, these two, and the Tate-Cotton battle there was worth the admission alone.
I think Bogues has got a complaint. It looked like it got caught up, and Cotton got caught with a double dribble and got away with it, but then off the ball. No, you don't call that.
Wow.
Context of the game has to come into play. And they had the ball anyway, so not a huge disadvantage, but just an unnecessary foul to call.
Perth a chance to extend their lead with a minute and change left on the clock. Kay, oh my goodness. They're making a statement here, the Wildcats. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games in Sydney. They can still steal top spot. They beat the Kings here at Kudos Bank Arena today. This is the first of 4 road games in a row for Perth. This is massive.
And the statement is, if you don't respect us from the perimeter, we can knock it down. 15 of 30, 50% from the three-point line, and some timely ones in this last quarter.
Over to you, Kings. Crowd's gone a little quiet all of a sudden. Newley had it knocked away. They get the stop, and they can use all 22 seconds on the shot clock to wind it down. You can see the differential. Time the enemy as well as the scoreboard, the enemy for the Kings right now. Kay to Cotton, who's been the demolition man, and he does it again.
He is unbelievable.
Well, he had 36 at this venue. He's on track. He's got 34. 7 of 12 from the three-point line, and just the confidence that's built up over the course of the game. White and Cotton are the stars, and the Perth Wildcats have done a great job of getting him the ball, recognising they are the superstars, and giving them the opportunity to deliver big in crunch time.
And this is what makes Bryce Cotton so good and so unguardable. He could have hit 3 threes in a row. He won't settle to force a 3. He will get to exactly where the defence won't let him get to, right there. Run him off the three-point line, gets to his little mid-range. He is a superstar.
I tell you, Mitch Norton, he's going to look at this and say, well, hang on, I've had to guard Casper Ware and he's got 33. And it may not look great on statistically, but I think Mitch Norton has done a terrific job, not just on Casper, but you saw it in the transition, holding up a couple of plays, a few of those defensive efforts, stepping into that Damian Martin role beautifully.
So the Sydney Kings, if you haven't been with us all season, have essentially been top of the ladder all season. The team to beat all season. But the Perth Wildcats are the 9-time champions and the reigning champions. They are always the most likely to beat anybody when the playoffs come around.
And Dwayne, as the decade draws almost to an end, Perth Wildcats team of the decade, my friend. They have been sensational over forever.
Yep.
But even in more recent times, just been a model of consistency.
I can't see much more happening this decade that'll change your mind on that either. We'll head down to Louise Ransom shortly, but this is a big possession for the Sydney Kings. 43.9 left. Newly the inbound. Casper tried to give it up. Cook saves it and turns it over. Kay to Cotton. Could he put a dagger in them? Unsportsmanlike, maybe. You play at the ball. They're going to check it. Sean Bruce just threw out an arm.
Well, there's a lot of criteria that you've got to go through.
Okay, I believe you.
Trevor Gleeson just reminding them to go and check it. And he has just been reminded that it will be checked.
He was ahead of the ball. You need to see the replay. Was he in a sound defensive position, and was he making a legitimate play on the ball? They come into the equation. And a lot of the times when you're coming from the side, you don't even need to go to the video because you don't tick one of those boxes. But this one I think you find might be a little closer, and Bruce might get away with this one. Can't speak more highly of the Perth Wildcats and the way they've gone about it. Hostile environment and just the D at both ends of the floor. Well, there you go. I've got another one wrong. Let's have a look. Yeah. That's unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, that is. Can't hide that.
In real time, it looked like he was in a better defensive position and he did make a play on the ball, but there is no play on the ball. That is just a swipe at the player, and this is going to be 2 and possession. The game was over anyway, but this should completely put a line through it.
And people want to always ask, how do you foul in that situation? If a guy's coming full speed at you in transition and he goes around to your left side, use your inside arm to go across the body to try and tip the ball out. As soon as you use your outside arm like Sean Bruce did there, it looks like you're trying to wrap him up or you end up slacking him. The inside of the body, you end up getting a little bit of hip check and you can cover it up. It's hard. As soon as you use that outside of the body, it's a lasso. It's going to be an unsportsmanlike.
It's the first time all game that either team has led by a double-figure margin. They lead by 10 with 34.8 left. This win for the Wildcats unlocks top spot. And it just goes to show, if history is a measure, you can't win the championship if you can't beat the Wildcats every season. It's the same. Here we go, Bryce Cotton. Will he do it one more time here? Steps back for 3. One more time, Bryce Cotton. He's coming here like a wrecking ball.
39 points.
Has been phenomenal, this performance from the Perth Wildcats. And the standard of the Hungry Jacks NBL20 season continues to blow our minds. This was a classic, first versus second, and the Wildcats in a seesawing encounter have proven too good again.